Hello and welcome to today's daily news report where I cover all the biggest stories affecting your wallet, life, and money. You watch this channel each day because I keep you in the loop on what's really going on in Washington, D.C. with President Biden and the U.S. economy. Thank you so much for joining me today. There's a lot to go through, so stick with me to the very end. Senator Bernie Sanders is predicting Democrats are about to nosedive politically if they don't make some course corrections fast. He said all this happy talk about Democrats turning it around and winning the election in November won't happen. He said he isn't even buying it. Sanders said at this point, it's like Democrats trying to win the election by having a bumper sticker that reads, "Well, we can't do much, but the other side is worse." Sanders said one chance Democrats have of convincing the people to keep them in power is to blame Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Say they kept us from passing trillions of dollars more, and it's their fault, not ours. However, many economic analysts believe the passing of all these trillions of dollars has led to the most out-of-control inflation since the 1970s. Manchin was shocked by Bernie Sanders' comments and said, "I have never berated Sanders for being a socialist." Senator Elizabeth Warren, who usually sides with Bernie Sanders, said, "A good strategy would be blame the Republicans and then point out how we need abortions, gun rights, and voting rights. However, most citizens right now are more concerned about their gas tank costing twice as much to fill and their grocery bill being up 50%. The first January 6th hearing aired last night, and it was a fiery one. Republican Representative Liz Cheney accused Trump of saying Mike Pence deserved to be hanged, and he also accused Trump of verbally supporting the people at the Capitol by saying that what they are doing is what we should all be doing. When Trump's advisor told him he needed to tell supporters to go home, Cheney said that Trump screamed at them in disagreement. One thing was clear last night: the panel was using those close to Donald Trump against him to try to take him down. They used a video of Trump's daughter, Ivanka, where she said that she trusted Bill Barr, the Attorney General, about the outcome of the election. So they were using family members, attorney generals, things like that. Now, following that, Trump did some rebuttals on his social media platform, Truth Social. He went on to say that he never said or even thought about hanging Mike Pence. This is either a made-up story or somebody trying to become a star with fake news. He stated that he believed his daughter was trying to be respectful of Attorney General Bill Barr, but was not involved in reviewing the election outcome. Trump claimed that he offered to deploy 20,000 troops there in Washington, D.C., and that was documented. You can look that up. But Nancy Pelosi and the Capitol Police turned it down, even though now it's come out that they had inside information that there was going to be violent attacks on the Capitol. So they had this information and they blew it off. And then, you guys all saw what happened in January 6th. It was awful, right? And so this is the two sides trying to fairly give an idea of what was covered last night. Following all this, inflation data from the CPI was released, and unfortunately, inflation has gone up, not down. It was 8.3% in April, and it went up to 8.6%. But most of you probably have felt that at the gas tank and also at the grocery store. Gas is up almost 25% or 25 cents in just a couple of days here in Utah. Now, let's have some perspective here. This is the highest reading of the CPI since 1981. So prices for items we need as Americans, such as food, energy, and shelter, are the highest they've been since the 70s. I mean, this is bad. You guys are all feeling it in your wallet. Now, following this news, stocks crashed heavily, leaving most of the stock market red, right? People are panicked. They're in fear. We also have CFOs of 2/3 of the largest companies in the United States saying they believe a recession is coming. Biden called this issue his number one economic priority and stated that Putin's price hikes hit hard in May here and around the world. High gas prices at the pump, energy and food prices accounted for around half of the monthly price increases, and gas is up by over $2 a gallon more. And he said that this is all for the United States to help liberate the people of Ukraine from the atrocities of Russia. So he tried to soften the blow by saying, hey, at least all these high prices you're paying is noble. But I don't think a lot of people are buying it, right? Like, they don't have connections to Ukraine. They're not there. They're just trying to make sure their own children are fed, that there's a roof over their own head. And so, people want things to change. And in the wake of all this pressure on Biden, we will see whether he will decide to help the American oil companies produce more, or if he'll go to Venezuela, or if he'll go to Saudi Arabia. Gas right now is the number one thing driving the increases to most people's monthly budget. A new poll was released asking Americans if they believed President Joe Biden was intentionally letting gas prices rise on Americans. A whopping 53% said yes, they believe Biden is doing this on purpose. Now, it gets worse, right? I've told you, Democrats don't determine the fate of the country. Republicans don't determine the fate of the country. It's independents. And a supermajority of independents in this survey said, yes, we believe Joe Biden is purposely allowing gas prices to go higher. Unfortunately, the average gas price in the United States cleared over $5 yesterday. Another poll found that the top issues voters care about are overwhelmingly economically related. To break it down, 42% said inflation and the U.S. economy are their highest priority. The next was 12% said national security. And then 10% said women-related issues such as access to birth control, equal pay, and then down near the bottom was abortion. Now, Democrats thought abortion would be their ticket, their golden ticket. And then when that fizzled out and didn't get them the kind of rise they were hoping, then they said it would be gun control. But again, the majority of the country has guns. And so they're not getting the traction that they want. The only thing that seems to be working is their anti-Trump rhetoric as they head into the midterms. But again, as Bernie Sanders said, if you're not helping people, they don't really care what you're saying, right? So it'll be really interesting to see where this all heads. Now, the real question is, can a Republican government dig us out of this mess? Or did they just look good by not being the ones controlling the government? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. After airlines stated that international COVID restrictions are a big reason for their ticket price declining, the Biden administration has now lifted the mask mandate, which states travelers must test negative before flying back to the United States. The mandate is set to end on June 12th, and then 90 days from now, they will reassess the data. America has given billions and billions of dollars in support to Ukraine, but they are now barely sharing details with us about how that money is being used. As of late, we have been relying on other countries to gain intel on what's really going on in Ukraine. The Times magazine stated that the information gap between the United States government could make it more difficult for the Biden administration to decide how to target military aid as it sends billions and billions of dollars and weapons to Ukraine. So basically, here's now the Times, right? We saw this it was CNN about a week ago where they said, listen, we're sending billions of dollars and all this weapon, and then we have no idea how it's being used. In fact, I saw one report from an international media coverage, and they basically said that there are Ukrainian soldiers like sitting in fields trying to read the manuals on how to use these weapons using Google Translate. So they don't even know how to use these multi-million-dollar weapons that we've sent to them. and they're getting very, very frustrated. But as an American, do you think that we should know where our tax dollars are going? Should we know how they're being used? Should we know that these weapons aren't just being sold on the black market and they'll be used against us down the road? So there's a lot of big questions that people are now starting to ask as this thing has continued on and as people's lives here in the United States have economically worsened or gotten more expensive. Now, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. Don't forget to get your name entered to be one of the winners of the giveaway that Casey and I are doing. We're going to give $500 to 12 of you to help with gas, rent, food, whatever you want. Once the money's in your account, it's yours. Hey, I appreciate you being in my community. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to remind you that you are amazing. Don't forget it. I'm serious. We're going through a lot of crap right now, and I want you to remember that. Hey, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next video.